The new Hyundai Santa Fe is one of my favorite cars of the year so far because it costs a lot less than you think. Now, you might be thinking this is maybe a $40,000, $50,000 car, but when you see the quality of the materials on the inside, and when you see just how much utility this has, keep in mind it's a 3-row, you might up that number. And of course, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how much it costs. But let's start with the design. The old Santa Fe was kind of funky, kind of quirky. This to me looks like a baby Suburban. It's just square jawed, it's just rough and rugged. And I think that's a good look for a car. You know, there's a rule in car design: if you make it more masculine, both men and women like it. If you make it more feminine, not so much. Think of the, well, new generation Beetle. Anyway, I actually flew out like 3 years ago to Korea to take a look at this when it was still being designed. And I got a chance to speak with the lead designer, and he told me that unlike, let's say, Audi or Mercedes, Hyundai has a completely different design language that is more like a chessboard. In other words, they have different chess pieces, and all those chess pieces look unique to each other. So the chessboard is Hyundai, but the pieces are the different cars that they build. Unlike, let's say, an Audi or a Mercedes, where they've got this nested doll design theory where one looks like the other, which looks like the other. In other words, an A4 looks like an A6 and looks like an A8. But not here. This is completely different, completely new, and I think completely handsome. And while I'm not a big fan of white, I think it's kind of Darth Vader-y in some ways with the white and black color combination. So let's start under the hood. Now we're looking at a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo, which according to the government gets a combined 23 mpg, which isn't grand, but for a 7-seater 3-row, it's actually not bad. Puts out 277 horsepower, and it's paired to an 8-speed transmission, which is just fine. Of course, all-wheel drive all the time, and oh, I do like this color. And let's see what size wheels and tires we have on this model. I think we're looking at, let me see here, we're looking at 245/45 R21s. And you know, when you put 21-inch wheels on a car, it tends to do two things: make the car look pretty badass, and at the same time make the ride pretty bad, period. But when we go take it for a ride, I think you'll be surprised at just how not bad this ride is. So let me take you to the inside and show you what I think is one of the more handsome interiors in modern car design. So what we're looking at here, of course, is a very big screen. I'm going to start it up. Completely digital, of course, but unlike many new vehicles, and I'm talking to you, Tesla, this car actually has traditional controls for some of the main functions. So a volume knob, a tuning knob, how crazy is that? A temperature knob for the driver and for the passengers, and then of course real buttons that do things like change the drive mode, actually provide a 4-wheel drive lock, and you know, real buttons on the steering wheel. And oh my God, it's got a round steering wheel. I don't know what to do with that. Usually I'm like sitting in front of a squared bottom, or if a Tesla Cybertruck, a completely square wheel. But how nice is this? Look at all the different hand positions that I can put on here to make myself comfortable on a road trip. I've just been driving the Tesla Cybertruck this morning, and I can't stand that steering wheel because there's no place for me to put my hand because it's all square. Here, we're back to round. Now, call me old if you want, but some things, you know, just work. The other cool thing in here is something that is pretty unusual to the Santa Fe and Hyundai, and that is, of course, not this wireless phone charger, which a lot of vehicles have, but this button right there. It says UV-C. Now, of course, after COVID, people are afraid that their phones might be carrying all kinds of germs and bacteria and such. So you can put your phone in the glove box, you can press the UV-C button, and what it does is it uses ultraviolet light to sterilize your phone. So while I'm actually reviewing the car, my phone is being sterilized so that I'm not afraid to use it after I lent it to, you know, my son. All right, I'm just joking, Tommy. You can use it all the time. All right, and some of the other cool features about this car are, first and foremost, you know, Hyundai does the usual, which is they give you a lot of features for not necessarily a lot of money. So things that you would find in much higher upper end vehicles. I'm looking at this really interesting, almost, what would you call this? Like I'm not sure if it's plastic, I'm not sure if it's fake wood. Whatever it is really cool. French stitching over here on the glove box, super nice as well. And everything just feels much more expensive, much more manicured, almost bespoke in some ways. I mean, just look at like this little cross here and how nice and elegant that is. And once again, thank God we've got traditional vent controls, which are easy to use, and I don't have to go into the screen to figure them out. We have reinvented the way you put it in drive. In this car, there's a big lever that you go forward for drive, backwards for N, and push down for P. I think that's pretty self-explanatory and pretty easy to use. But then, of course, you've got things like heated seats, heated steering wheel, actually heated and cooled seats, which is, something that you would expect in a much more expensive vehicle. And of course, over here, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little fingerprint reader, so you can set this car to your specifications, and then you can push that, and it will recognize that you're the driver, set your favorite radio stations, set your seat to where you like it. That hasn't been around for a while, but it's cool that they're using, new technology to make things easier. Plus, on top of all that, you also get a heads-up display. So are you still thinking about how much this would cost? I will tell you at the end of this, because I've got the Monroney right here. But let's jump in the back seat and the middle seat and see how comfortable they are. So we do have captain's chairs. They're electric, which is also very nice. And plenty of headroom, plenty of knee room, and then, of course, not one, but two massive sunroofs. There's the one for the front passengers, and then there's this big one for the rear passengers, so that you can, have as much light as you want in this vehicle. I also like the fact that Hyundai does really good work with USB-C, so they're actually incorporated in the back of the seats, and that's a really nice feature. And let me see if I can fit myself in the back here. So, yeah, come on, fold. I guess I didn't hold it long enough. All right. Let's try it again. Come on. I'm not going to fit back there. And, it's up here. Of course, that was stupid. Let's try this one. There it goes. Come on, keep folding. No, that's going up. Go down. Go down. I can get in here. All right, let's see what the back's like. Oh my. So, definitely more for kids than for 6'2", 235-pound adult men. But once again, a thoughtful feature like this. Come on, show this, Cole. You've got your own rear AC right there, along with the USB-C, along with a power plug, along with 4 cup holders. I mean, if I was a kiddo and I was hot and I had, a game I was playing, I'd be very happy back here. Now let me come around there, Cole. Let me show you something else that's unique that they've done. And some people call this a gimmick. Some people think it's useful. Hey, there it goes. Figured it out. Check this out. Of course, we've got roof rails, but what if you want to get up there? Well, Hyundai has very kindly, what am I missing here? Why isn't that working? Hold on, let me try the other side. Maybe because it's running? Oh, this one works. Come on over here, Cole. They have very kindly put a handhold right there, so that if you want to get on top of the roof, all you do is, put your hand up here, use the handhold, and then you can get stuff that's sitting on top of the roof. If you're going camping or if you've got a rooftop tent up there, I don't know if that's a gimmick, but it's thoughtful. And then let's see how much room is back here. About, maybe a couple grocery bags worth, but right here you've got electronically folding seats, so that's nice. And if you do put these seats down, there's going to be a ton of room so that if you do need to move more than just the kiddos, you can do it. All right, let's take it for a ride and see how quick it is and see how it drives. Now at this point you might be wondering, what does this compete with? And one of the things it competes with is basically within the brand, or brands, because of course Hyundai and Kia are kind of cousin brands, I guess. They're both under the same roof. So it does compete with the Telluride, and it does compete with the Palisade. It also competes with the Toyota Grand Highlander. Think of like kind of mid-level 3-row vehicles, and that's when we're at. But I gotta tell you, this thing drives really well. You would think that 277 horsepower in today's world of electric vehicles isn't all that much, but you know, let's face it. When I was a kid, 300 horsepower would have been a supercar, and now that's floored. That seems plenty lively. I'm not sure, you know, if for this type of a car you actually need any more than just under 300 horsepower. Maybe if you load it up full of kids, then it might get a little heavier and it might need a little bit more power. And to be honest, you know, I'm from the school of the more power the better, but let's face it, this is going to be mainly a family hauler, a grocery getter, a work goer, and for that kind of duty, 277 is plenty. But what really makes it unique is that sitting behind the wheel of this, I feel special, you know, I feel like I'm ensconced in leather and luxury, and I'm driving something that when I park it at the grocery store, I'm going to turn around and take a look at it because it's just so darn handsome. And this kind of takes us to where the Koreans have been and where they're going. Most of you probably know that the Korean brands, Hyundai and Kia, are really working hard to establish themselves, not just at the level of like Toyota and Nissan and Mazda, but with Genesis actually, you know, at the same level as Lexus or Acura. But this car, even though it's not a Genesis, which is a luxury brand of Hyundai, this feels like it could be a Genesis. I mean, the design is there, the interior, the quality of the materials, the utility, the kind of unique selling features, the fuel economy. To me, if I told you this car cost $60,000 or $70,000, I think I could get away with it, which it doesn't. It costs, you know, considerably less. But because of kind of the amount of precision and the amount of bespoke, let's call it bespoke looking design that this car has, it just punches way above its class in terms of, you know, everything that I look for in a kind of a family hauler. So at the beginning of this video, I told you I'm going to tell you how much this car costs. So come on out with me, and I'll let you know. I kind of teased it right at the start because it starts at $48,300, and this car has $470 worth of Serenity White Pearl. It's a pearlescent color, which is pretty cool, and carpeted floor mats for a total price of $50,375, as pictured right here. And to me, that is a hell of a lot of car for $50,000. Keep in mind that the average new car today is around $45,000 to $48,000. So you're really looking at a car that's just, you know, squeaks above what the average new car costs, and yet you get all this utility, you get all this design, and you get all this coolness. And I think that, in my book, makes this one of the best cars that I've driven and reviewed this year. Let me know in the comments below. I know style is subjective, so you may be like, Roman, you're looking at the ugliest, squarest, goofiest car in the world. We read our comments, so I'd love to know. And of course, head on over to alltfl.com if you want to see all of our news, views, and of course, reviews. And thanks for hanging with me for this just in of the new Hyundai Santa Fe. I'll see you next time. Ciao.